Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. What is going on, everybody? Monday, March 17th, 8 a.m. on the dot. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much for hanging out. Welcome to the Sleewa Show. Thank you for, kind of making the Sleewa Show part of your mix here on a daily basis. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys hanging out on the channel. Cheers to everybody this morning. What are we cheersing to? We're cheersing to just lemon water. No coffee, guys. Starting week number 3 with no coffee. Sometimes it's easy. Other times it's like I'm going to hallucinate. It's one or the other. There's no middle ground with just giving up coffee, just so everybody understands that. There's no like, oh, yeah, I'm good to go. No, you might be good to go for an afternoon, and then the next day you're hallucinating. I got to be honest, this morning I'm good. I don't really need coffee this morning. Got the right amount of energy. Got everything that I need to get this show up and running. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Let's take a quick look here. Quote of the day this morning. There was a couple that I really liked. I always have a difficult time just kind of like going through a couple or just saving them for as I go. The things that scare you only make you better and stronger. The things that scare you only make you better and stronger. It's another one in here because I'm not 100% sure if I've done that one before. The more I want to get something done, the less I call it work. The more I want to get something done, the less I call it work. I like both of those quotes. Both of those quotes solid. If you guys got a quote that you guys want to throw my way, feel free to throw it in. I'll put it in the chat here, so we can certainly do that. No problem. We can make that happen. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on for the day, and then we'll keep things rolling. So I appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll take a look at the comments here before we get things started. All right. Here's what we got going on today. Just a kind of a very simple one here. Lakers handled business yesterday against the Phoenix Suns. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about that. I got to be honest with everybody. I think Lakers they got a way of kind of weathering the storm here. There's a little bit of an update on LeBron we're going to get to, of course. You got the game coming up tonight against the San Antonio Spurs, so we'll spend a little bit of time on that. We know LeBron's out for at least 1 week, so something to keep in mind on that front. Baseball is starting tomorrow. Mookie Betts, we know that's out for the Tokyo series, so something to keep in mind there. And then we'll do a quick weekend recap. Got a couple NBA things I want to get into. Excuse me there. Got a couple NBA things I want to get into, and kind of the importance of the week for the Lakers. I think they got to go at least 2-2. I'll spend a little bit of time looking at the NCAA tournament. I guess I want to ask some people the question of, a lot of people paying attention to the tournament still? Is that something that's still going on? I find myself, I used to spend so much more time on the tournament. I'm spending so much less time on it now, even with 2 San Diego teams, by the way, getting in. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Even in the women's NBA, SDSU got in as well, or the women's college basketball tournament. Okay, let me take a look at some of the comments. We'll get the show started. I appreciate you guys hanging out. All right, here's one. No, this is one. Don't sit down and wait for opportunities to come. Get up and make them. I like that. Always some good quotes coming here from the people, so I appreciate you guys throwing in on that front. Busy week this week, by the way. Busy week. A lot going on this week. A lot of Laker games going on. A lot of things going on in obviously baseball is going to get started. NCAA tournament's going to get started. Very, very busy week. All right, let's get the show started, and if we got some more quotes as we go, we'll get into it. Somebody was asking me. I think they were asking if I'm having caffeine or did I have caffeine this morning. Let me see what they said here. I can't find it. Yes, I still have caffeine because I'll drink tea, but I did not have tea this morning. But I don't know if you guys are tea drinkers or not. The difference between tea and coffee, it's night and day. Now, I don't want anybody telling me that coffee is the same as tea. It ain't the same. If you told me I had to give up tea, I would give it up for the rest of my life and have no problem with it. Even though I like tea, but coffee, come on. That's different territory right there. Okay, let's get things started here. Lakers last night, or Lakers yesterday afternoon. You're gonna find you're gonna find me saying probably a lot last night instead of this afternoon. I always jack that one up. Lakers win yesterday, so they beat the Phoenix Suns. First off, let me just say this. The Phoenix Suns are, I don't know what that team is, but they are just awful. And it's not even a talent thing, even though, they certainly don't have the type of talent that they need. It's more effort. It's more the style they play. It's more that they don't look like they give a rat's ass, to be honest with you. But who cares about them here? I'll get into Phoenix in just a quick second because they could come up again in the summer. I don't think they will, but it could happen. Lakers yesterday, I thought the game was so critical for the Lakers. I really did. I thought yesterday was such a critical game for the Lakers because now all of a sudden, if you find yourself, you're losing 5 games in a row. And now you're all of a sudden losing against teams that even without LeBron or without Rui or some of these other key players, even if now you're starting to lose to teams that you should be beating. Now, the Brooklyn game, I've said it before and I said it again, that's the one that sticks out to me. That was just a really, really bad loss for the Lakers. No other way to put it. Just a really, really bad loss for the Lakers. They had no excuses. Luka and Austin Reeves didn't come through. But I could justify all the other losses. Okay, I could justify the loss against Boston, one of the best teams in the league. LeBron goes out with about 6 minutes and 45 seconds left. Lakers make it a game, but they still lose the game. They were down pretty much the entire second half. I could justify Milwaukee's loss. You just don't have enough talent. They didn't have enough talent to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, whatever night that was last week. I could justify the loss of the Denver Nuggets. They rested everybody. Literally nobody played. Think about all the guys that were out. Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Dorian Finney-Smith. I know I'm missing other players. They basically decided we're not going to play anybody. And they actually, in a weird way, almost won that game. And Friday night became frustrating because of how close they were to winning that game. You thought they were going to win the game. They gave it up in the last minute. I can justify some of the losses that the Lakers have had. I can't justify Brooklyn's loss. And yesterday, playing against the Phoenix Suns, I would not be able to justify that for the Lakers. I don't care that KD and Devin Booker are on that team. They're not a good team. They're not a good team. And that squad is... It's almost like they're trying to avoid the play-in tournament. And the teams in front of them, the Dallas Mavericks, are basically saying, hey, you can have this. And Phoenix is like, we're not sure if we're that interested. It's just a matter of time until the Phoenix Suns season is over. And the Lakers, listening to the broadcast yesterday, the game was on ESPN. And there were a number of different times. There were a number of different times that people on the broadcast just kept saying the same thing. They're like, does Phoenix even care about this game? It doesn't even seem like Phoenix is trying to play for a playoff spot, all that other stuff. But the Lakers jumped out, nice 10, 12-point lead, 14-point lead, and they just held on to it the entire way. I think maybe the closest the Phoenix Suns got was within 9 points, something along those lines. So with all that being said, yesterday was just a solid roll up your sleeves. Who cares LeBron's not there? Who cares that Rui Hachimura is not there? Go handle business. And they're going to have that same thing tonight coming when they play the San Antonio Spurs. I'll be there, by the way. So those are 2 games right out the gate yesterday's game and tonight's game, but I'll wait on tonight's game here for a second. But yesterday's game was a perfect example of just go handle your shit. And the Lakers did that. It was really, really nice, I thought, to see Jaxson Hayes obviously back in the lineup. And I was mentioning this yesterday when I was doing the postgame show. I'm not trying to make an argument here that Jaxson Hayes all of a sudden has become a completely different player and is, one of the top big men in the league, nothing like that. But at least you can tell that when he's there, when he's actually playing, when Jaxson Hayes is in the lineup, just how much easier the game is for some of these other guys. How much easier the game is for somebody like Luka Doncic. How much Luka really, really needs a player like that to be in the lineup. And, as Lakers kind of start trickling back some of their players, I got something I'll play from Shams that I heard yesterday in regards to the rest of the team, the rest of the guys that are out. I think there's only good news coming for the Lakers. And yesterday was just a good win to grab against the Phoenix Suns team that has talent, that can have guys go off on any given night, but really are not a good team collectively. And the Lakers were able to do that. So Luka, phenomenal yesterday, 33 and 11 and 8. Austin Reeves now 3 straight games. He's looked really good, starting to get whatever rust that he had coming back from his injury. That's going away. Like I mentioned, Jaxson Hayes, brilliant, really, really nice to have him back, and you could tell the impact that he had immediately. So good win against Phoenix yesterday. I don't need to harp on it too much, but I do think yesterday's win was incredibly, incredibly important. There was no excuses for the Lakers to lose that game, and they made it happen. So I think that was kind of my walk away from yesterday's game. I will say this. If you do look at the rest of this week, at minimum, they got to go 2-2. So let me give you guys the Lakers' schedule for the week. Here's what they got coming up for the week. For the week, the Lakers have all home games, by the way. Spurs tonight, Denver, Milwaukee. That's going to be a Wednesday and Thursday. And then Chicago on Saturday here at Crypto as well. At the absolute worst, they got to go 2-2. The question is going to be, is there any possible way they can split one of those Denver and Milwaukee games? Because as the dust is kind of starting to settle here, and the Lakers are, they went on that incredible run, 20-4, and then boom, they lose 4 games in a row, and they're missing a lot of their key players. Lakers are fortunate enough that if you look at the NBA standings right now, they still got a shot at the number 2 spot, or they still got a shot at the number 3 spot, or they still got a shot at the number 4 spot. And that doesn't mean that there isn't, this army coming behind you, which is the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Both of those teams just can't figure to lose now. Golden State hasn't. I think they have 1 loss since Jimmy Butler came. Minnesota's playing as good as basketball as anybody in the league. It doesn't mean there isn't a lot of pressure behind you, but 4 teams have 25 losses. And if the Lakers just handle business tonight, they're within a half game or a game of still that number 2 spot, which seemed like when LeBron went down, it's not happening. There's no chance that they're going to get it. Now, listen, by the time the week ends or by the time LeBron actually comes back, maybe the number 2 spot isn't realistic anymore. Maybe the number 3 spot isn't realistic anymore. Maybe what you're working for is just home court advantage for the first round. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But at least for the Lakers, you got some of these other teams that have had some losses. Denver had a really bad loss against the Washington Wizards a couple days ago. So it's not like all these teams are playing perfect. Houston's definitely playing better basketball. Memphis, I think, still has Jaren Jackson Jr. out for however long they have him out. So it's not like all these other teams are in perfect predicaments or perfect situations as well. So we'll see how things play out. But you got to go 2-2 this week. You have to win tonight. You have to win Saturday night. Those are 2 basically non-negotiables for the Lakers. You have to win those 2 games. If you get both of those games, we'll see what happens against Denver and Milwaukee. I mean, against Denver and Milwaukee, not that much different than last week. You almost got to play perfect. Maybe Denver's the team that's vulnerable in this whole situation. I don't really know. They kind of are up and down. They beat an OK City Thunder team, then they get blown out at home against Minnesota. They have trouble against the Lakers when the Lakers aren't playing anybody. Then they lose to the Washington Wizards. So maybe if there's a team that you can that's a little bit vulnerable right now, maybe it's Denver. I got no idea. I would never have thought it's Denver, but maybe it is Denver. All right, let's take a look at some of your comments here. Now we'll talk a little bit about the Spurs game tonight, and then I got a video I want to play as Shams talking about these Laker injuries that I think is good news for the Lakers. All right, let's take a look here. See what everybody's getting into here. Molov, by the way, who's a member. Luka played better with better pace and ball movement. Ernie 76, another member here. All I'm worried about, Lakers beat the teams they should beat, make the playoffs, stay healthy. Oh, all I'm worried about. Lakers beat the teams they should beat, make the playoffs, stay healthy, then ball out in the playoffs and give yourself a chance. And then a little bourbon emoji there. Appreciate you throwing in the chat there, buddy. Yeah, I think, there's a time that you become greedy. There's a time that you become greedy. And I'm with you. And greed is, okay, hey, Lakers are looking good. They got a lot of their key players that are playing well. You want to see them with the number 2 seed. Health hasn't really been, let's just say when they were 20-4, they had a couple guys out, but the main guys were still there. And you talk about health less when you're actually winning games, and the Lakers were winning games. So with all that in mind, now where the Lakers sit today, I am with you. There's a piece of me that says, okay, hey, absolutely, 100%. Go get greedy and try to get the best seed you can in the standings. But this is not up to the Lakers. It's going to be up to health. And if they're healthy, then they'll have a shot at it. If they're not healthy, then they don't have a shot at doing anything. So, Ernie, I think the point that you're trying to make is you just want to see this team healthy by the time they get to the playoffs. Oh, Lakers would be a complete headache for a lot of teams in the postseason. They would be. And by the way, they've already proved that. So whatever we thought of them when the trade happened, the way they're playing today, or the way they were playing when they were healthy, and that was still with a couple guys out, Rui being one of them, there definitely is a little bit of, just get healthy and get in the playoffs, and we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to look at one thing in the standings here real quick. I think Houston's the one that dropped into that number 2 slot, I think it was. Yeah, Houston right now is sitting at number 2. So Golden State still 3 games back in the loss column, and Minnesota 4 games back in the loss column of the Lakers. That's why if they went 1-3 this week, now you're in jeopardy of, hey, is Golden State and Minnesota going to pass you? So that's why, this week is a great example of, this is not a week that can happen. All right, let's take a look at a couple more of these comments. Felix, Suns is the best example of why you can't just put all-stars together and success would just come. Can't always say, oh, we need another all-star. Most of this time, the stuff backfires. Man, watching Phoenix yesterday, just a awful, awful team. I mean, I don't even know how else to describe them. They are just awful. Let me do this real quick on the Phoenix Suns, and then we'll come back to everything else. I still think you could have 3 stars on a team, but I think there has to be – Miami was a perfect example of having 3 stars. When they had 3 stars, by the way, you can still technically do it. I mean, look at the Warriors for an example. But let me explain. I still think you could have 3 stars. But what you probably need from all 3 of those stars, like Miami did, each one of those guys took a little less money. And then the question is going to be, can the guys complement each other? Okay, Dwayne Wade, what's his actual position? Well, technically, he's a guard. What was LeBron's actual position? Okay, he's a forward. What was Bosh playing for the Miami Heat? Power forward, but a lot of times he was playing center as well. And then they still had the ability to go out there and get other players to kind of round out their other roster. Those guys were also all right in their prime, or maybe not in their prime, but they weren't washed or anything along those lines. Like a guy like Bradley Beal, that I would say. I still think you can win with 3 stars, but damn if it's not a perfect fit and they all complement each other and maybe all of them take a little bit less money. If it's not that, you're going to have trouble. But it's got to be the right stars. Phoenix was just, I mean, how many different times during the broadcast were they saying, what is this team? They don't fight. They don't play hard. A lot of it is effort. Everybody was ripping into the Phoenix Suns yesterday. It was a nationally televised game. It was an ESPN game. Everybody was literally ripping into them. I remember, we had there were some stories out there over the last week and a half, 2 weeks that KD probably going to get traded in the summer. They're already talking about that now. And by the way, one of the teams that came up was the Lakers. And I did I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but I think the Lakers right now, you go ahead and walk into the summer when this season's over and just kind of go ahead and look to see what it looks like. But the amount of pieces you'd have to give up for Kevin Durant, do you have everything else that you need around it if the Lakers were going to go make a move like that? And I don't think they will. But that just goes to the 3-star theory that, a couple people had in here. All right, let's see what else we got here. Only 16 games left. Yeah, that's it. This is, I was thinking about this right now too. I'm like, shit, we're gonna be in the playoffs here. In a month, we're in the playoffs. All right, let's see what else we got here. A couple people on Phoenix. No chemistry, no culture, leadership matters. Yeah, all right. What does that mean? Does that mean KD's just not a good leader? A little bit of a surprise there. Or maybe KD doesn't want to lead. I genuinely don't know what it means. All right, let's get some more comments here, and then I want to play some video from Shams about some of the injury updates for the Lakers. This is one on Luka and Hayes. Luka needs Hayes' size vertically to pass the ball in the middle when he gets blitzed and doubled. Hayes finding the corner shooters well or going to the rim. Yeah, I'm going to give Jaxson Hayes a lot of credit. I had somebody in one of the chats basically saying, oh, look at everybody now giving Jaxson Hayes credit. Everybody was frustrated with him before. Guys, Jaxson Hayes didn't all of a sudden become a different player. He got Luka Doncic, and Luka needs a guy like Jaxson Hayes. That's what changed. Jaxson Hayes didn't change his game, but Luka Doncic came to the Lakers and said to himself, yeah, I need a player like that. Listen to me. Let me get you those easy buckets. Austin Reeves kind of does the same thing, but clearly doesn't do it as good as Luka. And there's no other big men you could really rely on. You guys saw Christian Koloko these last couple of games. There's some plays you're like, oh, very nice. Christian Koloko, very good. Other plays, he's losing the ball on a lob. He's fouling Nikola Jokic in an and one when the Lakers are up 3, and all you have to do is not foul. I mean, there's the guy obviously is kind of being thrown into a situation where he's not ready for this moment. At least Jaxson Hayes can give you those minutes that you need and be a little bit of the player that Luka needs. I'm really worried about our center rotation in the playoffs. We only have Hayes, who's serviceable. Yeah, I don't think that's going to change. I think you're going to get times where LeBron is playing the center position. I think there's going to be moments where, they just have to go small. Dorian Finney-Smith and Vando are in there with Rui and LeBron. I think that's how it's going to be. And I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. So something to just keep in mind. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's go kind of towards the bottom here. I'm missing a lot of these comments here in the process. Budenholzer has lost the locker room. I'll tell you one thing. A lot of people have opinions on the Suns. KD has never been a good leader, asked Stephen A. I thought he was a good leader in OKC. Good leader in OKC. Probably had moments with the Warriors as well, but then, there was already guys that were already there that can lead. All right, let's play a little. I want to play a little video here on where the Lakers are as far as their bigs. Oh, that's an interesting one. You're right about that. If Kleba's healthy, that helps. Oh, that would help a lot. Technically, I think he gets reevaluated maybe the week before the playoffs start, something like that. When I was there for Luka's presser, Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber talked as well. And Kleber had said, I think it was 8 weeks until he gets reevaluated. So I think that's going to be the timeline. We'll see what happens. I think Kleber would be huge for the Lakers. And I'm not telling you that's the complete answer, but at least you get a little something there. All right, I want to play some video here for everyone real quick. Got this video that I saw. This was just a reminder here. This was before the Lakers took on the Phoenix Suns. So it's not, this was before the game, but it's okay. It offers a little bit of an update here, and I don't know if we're going to get anything more current. So This is Shams with Malika talking about the Lakers' health issues and where LeBron's at.
What is the latest on LeBron's groin injury and his timeline to return?
Malika, I'm told LeBron James is actually having his first workout since that groin strain last weekend. He's having his first on-court workout in Los Angeles here today. He is expected, as we see right there, he is expected, though, to miss at least another week. His exact return will be based on how his body responds to increased activity here over the coming days and the coming week. The Lakers and James will be very cautious. He's 40 years old. This is a soft tissue injury. We know he's played heavy minutes this season. He's coming off the Olympics. So look for him to miss at least another week of game action. But the Lakers are getting some players back.
I'm going to stop right here real quick before we get into the rest of that piece, because I want to talk LeBron, and then he mentioned something about Rui. Okay, real quick on the LeBron piece. Misses at least another week. All right, no problem. I mean, listen, I'll still go back to, and it sounds like there's a good chance maybe he comes back before this. I'll go all the way back to just give me LeBron by March 31st. Give me LeBron 2 weeks from today. At least he gets 8 games to get ready and then, get ready for the playoffs. That's how I would look at it. Now, listen, that means he would still miss 8 more games before he comes back. All right, what's that going to do in the standings? They're going to go on a road trip here. After this week, they're on the road in Orlando, at Indiana, at Chicago, at Memphis. I don't know how those games are going to go. Road games are certainly going to be tough for the Lakers. They went 0-4 in their last road trip. And some teams, not as talented. Other teams talented as far as what this road trip has when they have them eventually coming back. But if he misses at least the next week, all right, that means LeBron will have missed 2, 4, 6, 8. He'll have missed 8 games before coming back. That's at the best case scenario. He's back in a week. Let's see if he can make some kind of ground and come back during any part of that road trip. But I think the key for everybody is, hey, as long as this man is healthy and good to go, with about 2 weeks left in the regular season to get kind of get back into basketball form and get all the rust out, and then you kind of take your chances from there. All right, keep listening here because this is more than just LeBron.
Jaxson Hayes, their starting center, I'm told he will make his return to the lineup tonight after missing a few games with the knee contusion.
Obviously, he came back, but listen to the last piece on Rui.
And Rui Hachimura has been out 8 consecutive games with a knee injury. I'm told there's optimism he's going to be back here within the week.
All right, so that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea for those that were asking, hey, what are some of the injury updates? At least that's what we're getting from yesterday. Will there probably be some more updates today? Lakers get ready to take on the San Antonio Spurs. Probably will be, some more updates in regards to that. I will say this, and I think, this is the other piece to kind of pay attention to. I think the piece about Rui, not having Rui in the lineup, guys, they've gotten a stretch here. There were a lot of games here. They were playing without 3 starters. And whether you think Rui's the answer or not, I definitely think Rui can help if LeBron's not there. I think it also allows the Lakers to kind of go back to a little bit more of their traditional starting lineup. So certain players that are in the starting lineup now, but play better coming off the bench, or that's just more their natural role, that's going to be nice too to get Rui back. So I remember saying this last week that it's not just about getting LeBron back. Can you just get Jaxson Hayes back? Can you just get Rui back? Can you just make sure all these other guys are back? Because I think all the other guys will still help you win games. I think without the other guys and LeBron, you're hemorrhaging. You can't stop the bleeding. And I think in this situation now for the Lakers, okay, Hayes is back. Hayes will help them tonight. Hayes helped them yesterday. Okay, if Rui's back within the next couple of games, Dorian Finney's there, Gabe Vincent's there. Now I think you can still win games without LeBron until LeBron gets back. All right, let's keep things moving here. I got one thing on the Spurs real quick that I'm going to get to in just a second, but I'll take a look at a couple more comments here. Yep, D2, lower our expectations on Koloko, then we will be happy with him. Same thing with Alex Lynn. I think people had this. Alex Lynn came to the Lakers, and I kind of kept saying to myself, I'm like, What are people expecting from Alex Lynn? Go look at some of his stats. Go look at what he's done the last couple of years. Guy hasn't done anything. So definitely there are players that you got to lower your expectations for. Used to think that Rui was trash, but I see the Lakers need him. They need him. They need all their guys. When you have a roster like the Lakers do that doesn't really have traditional big men, I mean, you need all of these guys. And by the way, if they're going to make noise in the playoffs, they're going to need, it's not going to just be LeBron cooking and Luka cooking. You don't think Austin Reeves is going to be important? You don't think Dorian Finney-Smith's going to be important? Gabe Vincent, Jaxson, go down the list. Jordan Goodwin. All these guys are going to be important. Dalton Connect, you don't think Connect's going to be important? I mean, believe it or not, they're going to be depending on a lot of these guys because of the roster is not a perfect roster. All right, let's get another one in here. Matthew, thank you very much for the super, brother. Very, very nice of you. I appreciate that very much. We have the benefit over a team like Golden State. We have games we can rest our stars. Golden State doesn't. Remember the Lakers 2023 run where they went on the late season run but ran out of gas. Matthew, here's the only difference for the Warriors, I think. The Warriors, you're right. They're in full mode right now. Well, Jimmy Butler didn't play for a while, so he's got gas in the tank. The other thing about it to keep in mind, the Lakers were also in the play-in tournament in all these other years. The reason why Golden State is, metal to the pedal or pedal to the metal is because they just want to avoid the play-in tournament. One of these teams are going to have to play in the play-in tournament, whether that's Minnesota or it's the Warriors, or frankly, look, there's 4 teams with 25 losses. It could be any of these other teams. It could be Rockets, Denver, Memphis, or the Lakers. So I think that's the difference between the Warriors and the previous Lakers teams. Now, if the Golden State Warriors end up in the play-in tournament because they lost a couple games in a row, then I think that definitely has some substance there. Thank you for the super, brother. Appreciate you very much. All right, let's take a look at, I want to look at some more of the comments. And I also want to spend some time talking about Lakers Spurs coming up tonight. So I'm going to do all that. But before I do, I've got to talk about Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm here real quick. If you or someone close to you has been seriously injured or is dealing with the loss of a loved one, you should find out what legal options you have because you deserve the absolute best in the business, and that's Brad Wallace from the Wallace firm, somebody that I've known for about 5 years. You know what some of the great things about some of the relationships that I have in the industry or on the channel is look at all the guests that I bring on. A lot of the guests are people that I've had a relationship with for years that were a part of my shows in the past when I was at 710, and not really that much different here. Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, he's somebody that was working with me when I was at 710 ESPN, and then when I go to YouTube, he's like, hey, I want to follow you along with your journey as well, and he's certainly doing that. He can help anybody in the state of California. I hope you never need him, but things happen in life, and we created a URL here, which, by the way, offers a free consultation. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa to learn more. They consistently win big injury and wrongful death cases. Again, I hope you're never in a predicament or a situation. If you want a personal introduction, I can make a personal introduction. I can send an email to Brad Wallace and say, hey, here's one of our listeners. Here's somebody that's a member of the channel, and they may need your services. I can do that as well. I think the main point to just take across, you kind of see injury attorneys everywhere. They're all over a lot of these different advertising platforms. They're all over billboards, all that. At least this is somebody that not only is one of the best in the business, but I have a personal relationship with. Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. He can help anybody in the state of California, like I mentioned. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa, a proud partner of the Sliwa Show and also the post-game show that we'll be doing tonight. So shout out to them. All right, let's keep going here. Let's take a look at some of your guys' comments, and then let's talk about the game against the Spurs tonight here real quick. Not too much on the game against the Spurs. I think I just got a couple quick angles here, and we'll keep it going. I think Bron is just resting. Bron wanted the 4th, 5th seed and wanted Luka to go cardio for the meantime and get ready to playoffs. 4th, 5th seed is the best for me. They might face Memphis, Rockets, or OKC. Or Memphis and Rockets first, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder. Is everyone sold on Denver? I think Denver's vulnerable. I don't know. I don't know about Denver. I got to be honest with you. In the few games that I've seen them play, I don't know if they're just hanging out for the playoffs or waiting for the playoffs or if they got some problems. But their lack of depth, I think the Lakers have played Denver really, really well since the Luka trade. Really, really well. Now, they still got another game coming up against them this week. We'll see what happens there, but maybe that's going to say a little bit more. I think I'm starting to lean that OKC is more dangerous than Denver for the Lakers specifically. You guys got some thoughts on it? Throw it in. I mean, I was watching last night. OKC was playing Milwaukee on the road without 2 starters. And at one point in the game, they're up 25. OKC, without Dort and without Jalen Williams, on the road against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got everybody. I know they don't have Bobby Portis, but the same team that beat the Lakers, last week. And on the road, they were up 25. I don't know about the Thunder. They look like the only thing that I hesitate with the Oklahoma City Thunder is just their experience. That's it. But everything else that you need, they got it. Play defense. They got the right role players. They got a star who's going to be the MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm not sure what Denver is. I don't know if they're a huge threat or not. All right, Lakers Spurs tonight. Wemby out obviously for the season. Lakers can't screw around tonight. No playing with their food. I'll tell you this: Spurs are going to play hard either way. They will, because that's what the San Antonio Spurs do. And even in their last few games, look at some of their wins, some of their losses. They're 3-4 in their last 7 games. So it's not like they've completely cratered. They beat Brooklyn. They beat Dallas. They beat New Orleans. Okay, not 3 impressive teams. Just don't mess with your food tonight. They do have losses against Sacramento, Minnesota, Dallas, and Charlotte. So they also got some interesting losses in that mix. No Wembanyama, no De'Aaron Fox. It's kind of interesting. We were just talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. West is going to be a problem for years to come. They're going to be an issue because the San Antonio Spurs are really set up well for the future. The Oklahoma City Thunder are really, really set up well for the future. So, looking at those 2 teams and one of the teams that we're talking about right now, the Lakers, or the Lakers facing a team like the Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder down the future, those teams, they're going to provide some headaches. That's for damn sure. They're definitely going to provide some headaches. All right, let's. And I don't agree. Anybody that thinks there was a conspiracy theory that LeBron was doing whatever and taking some time off, all that stuff, I don't know what to tell you about that. All right, let's see what else we got here. People starting to kind of weigh in a little bit on the OKC and the Denver stuff, everything else I was talking about. Denver not beating Golden State tonight. By the way, this is a perfect example. Me saying that, hey, other teams, it's not like these other teams that got 25 losses or anything else. It's not like they got a cakewalk the rest of the year as well. Denver's got Golden State tonight. That's right. I was going to put that in my weekend recap / what we got going on for tonight. So something to keep in mind. Denver is beatable, no depth. I don't know if I don't know if you could say JJ has figured out how to play Denver over a couple of games, but he's definitely played them very competitively in these first 2 games or they've played them 3 times now, but at least since the Luka trade. Need to sweep the leg with Denver. No defense, lost to the Wizards twice. This is why I get confused about Denver. Is Denver just, hey, it's just the regular season, who cares? I would imagine for Denver, having home court and having a Game 7 at Ball Arena would be huge for them. So we'll see what happens. So we can beat Denver because we got a secret weapon, a.k.a. Luka. It's OKC I'm worried about now. OKC strong on both sides. SGA is legit. OKC is the most dangerous because of youth and Dort has as a wing defender. they were showing up some stats yesterday. By the way, I like how ESPN's basically just cranking all these NBA games on Sundays now, all through the day. They should do it. They should do it on Saturday. I mean, what the hell else is on Saturday at this stage of the year? But the Oklahoma City, they were showing all these defensive stats of where OKC is in the NBA. Oh my God. Every category. Literally. Almost every defensive category they're first in. All right, let's see what else we got here. William, who cares if he's faking injuries? 40. It's a wise charge his batteries for the platform. He's not faking an injury, guys. He's not faking an injury. The guy would have took days off that he wanted to take off. Let me give you guys a good example. Let's say LeBron was completely healthy and Lakers got this back-to-back that they got going on. Maybe he played yesterday and he wanted to play today. Maybe he picked and choose, or he picked which game he wanted to play between Denver and Milwaukee. Or maybe he played Denver and Milwaukee and then took the Bulls game off. I mean, he would have been strategic either way. So I don't think that part is really an issue. All right, let's keep going here. Did you see the Ant-Man dunk last night? I did. When that guy gets going, he gets that angle and obviously makes it happen. And he's a beast. Ant-Man is a beast. All right, if you got some comments, feel free to throw some comments in. I'm going to come back to you guys here in just a second. Do me a favor, by the way. Can we get to 32,000 subscribers? Can we get, one of the things I haven't done a good enough job the last couple of weeks or so is just encouraging people to subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. And like the videos, because by liking it, it certainly gets it out to more people. And those who don't know about the channel, I want to try to expose the channel too. So thank you for being a part of the show, and thank you for hanging out. Please subscribe. Okay, I want to get into just a quick. I got one thing here I want to do on the NBA real quick. I want to just read a quote off to everybody here real quick. You guys remember Jeanie Buss? Maybe it was last week. Was on a podcast with Julian Edelman. And Julian Edelman obviously doing his thing, and he's got a very popular podcast. And Jeanie Buss, I'm not sure if she's been kind of making a tour here because of the new show that's on Netflix and everything else. But whatever the case is, I thought this was interesting, and it's going to tie into a couple things about the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks, and then I'm going to move on to the NCAA tournament. I'm going to get your thoughts on that. But real quick here, that I just want to throw this in here. I'm going to read off a quote here that Jeanie had as part of the podcast that she was on. She was telling a little bit of the story about when she first found out about what Dallas was interested in making a trade with the Lakers. She said, I'll read you the exact quote here. Make sure I'm reading the beginning of it here. She said, at that point, that's when Rob was at the game and he met with the GM of Dallas, and they had a conversation. And Rob thought about it for a day. Then he came to me and said, here's something that was talked about, a framework. And I said, Jeannie's saying this, I hope you told him that we're not trading Anthony Davis. We're not trading him. And as we talked more and more, we figured out a framework that could work. So initially, Jeanie Buss, I think, was coming in with the idea and the concept, of course, of, hey, I don't care what Dallas is thinking, but we're not trading Anthony Davis. It got me kind of thinking. I'm like, all right, of course, Luka, when Luka's name got brought up, it's like, yeah, we would be happy to trade Anthony Davis. Thank you for your time, your service. Good luck in the future. I was thinking about it in my head. I'm like, okay, if Jeannie's saying we're not trading Anthony Davis, what players would Jeanie Buss say, hey, I'm trading Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic? What players are out there that if Rob Pelinka came out with any conversation, there's probably only a handful of players that she's trading Anthony Davis for. Luka's a no-brainer. She's trading him for. Nikola Jokic is a no-brainer. She's trading him for. Those are obviously too obvious. Giannis, she's trading him for. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, she's trading him for. Now you guys got to start looking at age and everything else, right? KD, she's not trading him for because of age. Steph Curry, she's not trading him for because of age. Maybe you start getting into the Anthony Edwards of the world. She's trading him for because of age. Devin Booker, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's trading him for Devin Booker. But there's only a handful of names. And I thought it was interesting that the first thing she thought of when, Rob comes back with a conversation with Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks, she's like, we're not trading Anthony Davis. You know why she's saying that? Because she never thought Luka would be in a trade conversation with the Lakers for Anthony Davis. So if they were trying to put together some package, hey, we'll give you Kyrie and Lively and whatever, and PJ Washington. They're trying to put together a package. She's not thinking Luka's going to be a part of the deal. There's only a small handful of players that I think she would have been willing to trade Anthony Davis for. Luka was the no-brainer. There's some other ones that maybe you could bring into the conversation and say, hey, would you trade for that guy? Does that guy make more sense? Okay, because of his age, whatever the case is, there's only a handful of players that I think would have done that. One other quick story here, and the final one I'm going to have on the Lakers, and it's really all I got on the Lakers today, to be honest with you. This one was a little bit different. I don't know if you guys saw this. Dirk was on 41 Campus podcast, and he just basically told the story that this guy was relaxing on the beach. By the way, just real quick on the Luka trade, and man, there's still a lot of storylines that are coming. Last week, it was Shams that was on a podcast, and he talked about how he found out the news, confirmed it, and said his hand was shaking when he's typing in, getting ready to tweet out, or on X, get ready to send out his tweet about the trade. That even a month and a half later, everybody's still kind of talking about where were you? What were you doing? Those conversations aren't really getting old, to be honest with you. But here's Dirk. Dirk basically saying that he was in the Maldives with his family. They were relaxing on the beach. They were out there, obviously on vacation. This is what he said. I was so stunned that I just put everything aside. We were supposed to go for a quick lunch with the family before flying out, but instead, I sat in my room for an hour scrolling through X, trying to figure out if it was real. So even a guy like Dirk, he added that he'll always be a Mavs fan, but that this trade really hurt. So there's Dirk giving his thoughts and his opinion on the trade as well. So every single day, it seems like somebody else is telling another story about what the hell happened and why it happened and whatever the case was. But even some of these, other greats, somebody like Dirk, he's like, I'm with the family. I'm out here vacationing. I'm just going to go back into the hotel room. I'm going to get under my covers, and I'm going to mourn the loss of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's kind of, how a lot of people, at least in that regard, not only still shocked, but of course, still looking at the situation and can't believe it. All right, let's see what else we got here. I didn't know the Suns were so horrible. I thought he was going to lose. I was wrong. I thought we were going to lose. I was wrong. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. There's nothing that they've shown to me this year that you feel like this is a squad that you'd have to worry about. But they could go off in any game. That's the other part about it, is Booker can go off for 35. Lakers were so good defensively on Booker yesterday. KD could go off for 35. I mean, that can happen. Yeah, he's trading AD for Booker. Lakers know there's no way to build around a 34, 35-year-old AD when Braun retires. Can I tell you something kind of funny? Oh, yeah, that's 100% here. Chet ain't happening. Or I'm sorry, Wemby, it ain't happening, as in the Spurs wouldn't do it. The Lakers would do it in a heartbeat. I think OKC would do that in a heartbeat. I think they would. I think they do it in a heartbeat because just kind of increases their chances of winning a championship now for the next couple of years. And Chet, is it Chet is not he's not Shea. Chet's a good player, but he's not Shea, the current MVP right now. That's kind of that was what you were trading when you were trading Luka. Okay, I got a question for everybody. Got a question here for everybody. By the way, thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Booker is the most overrated player in the league. I don't know. There's a lot of overrated players. Don't get me wrong on that. All right, there's another one here I'll get into a sec. Quick question for everybody as we come to about 10 minutes left in the show. NCAA tournament. You guys watching it? Is it just me? And I'm very curious to get your guys' thoughts. When I was younger, I used to love the tournament. Love the tournament. I thought it was the funnest thing in the world. Used to watch a lot of the games. That opening round on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh my God, how good was that? It was phenomenal. You guys still watch the tournament? A lot of people paying close attention. Were people locked in yesterday when they were doing the seeding and everything else? Or was it kind of like, nah, I don't really care. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You know, I had some stakes to watch yesterday. San Diego State, they're going to be a part of that first 4 games. So they play tomorrow. I think they play at 6 o'clock, 6:10, I think is the exact time. They got North Carolina. So they're not officially in because they lost their first Mountain West Conference game, which is freaking awful. Now, they are one of the younger teams in all of college basketball. But I'm watching because of that. And they got North Carolina, so that's going to be a good game. So I'm watching because of that. Hell, the other school in San Diego, really, really cool story. UCSD is a part of the tournament. Badass. I mean, just incredible. So I got 2 schools out here in San Diego that are a part of it. But are people still watching the NCAA tournament the way they were before? I'm not. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened. What happened? Do you guys, why did we lose such interest? Or maybe there's a lot of people that still watch these games and really, really care. But for me, man, I'm not there anymore. UC San Diego versus Michigan. Yeah, I thought I saw that yesterday. I was just double checking there. Let me see some of the comments here. I'm just curious to see if people are still watching it or if there's a lot of less interest. All right, got a couple Aztec people here. There you go. Okay, I know UCLA is in. SC get in? I don't think SC got in. It shows you how little I'm paying attention. Not as much. ESPN used to have college games when there was less NBA on starting in the mid-'80s. NCAA was huge. Online gambling has dropped the pool interest. Never got into college ball. I'm not interested in the tournament like I used to be. It's not. That's one way. It's not the same sleek because all the studs are in the NBA. I mean, I'll watch some games, but I feel like I got to wait. You know, I'll watch my teams or I'll watch, you know, obviously the 2 SD schools. And I don't mind watching, you know, okay, this is another one. I used to kind of watch the Pac-12. Pac-12 I used to watch. Yeah, I'd be kind of rooting for the Pac-12. Get some of these West Coast schools represented in the tournament. Feels like the NCAA is more for smaller cities. Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. Just doesn't do it for me anymore the way it used to. Will I fill out a bracket? I don't think last year. I don't even think I filled out a bracket last year. Trying to think, did we fill out a bracket when I was at the station? This is a cool story. UCLA and USC women's both number 1 seeds. That's badass. I know. I think UCLA is the overall number 1 seed, and SC is the number 4. Even have my Aztecs in the women's NCAA tournament. They're in it as well. So a lot of representation. A lot of representation for SoCal. All right. Yeah, I think we're done with that guy. Gave the man Plenty of chances is what it is. Okay, let's keep going here. I don't know if you guys saw this. Mookie Betts out for the Tokyo series, has an illness. Kind of crazy here. Baseball's about to start. Their Dodgers and the Cubs will open Major League Baseball kind of the same way the Padres and the Dodgers opened up last year. They started a couple weeks early. It was in South Korea. It was in Seoul, if I'm right. I think it was in Seoul. And this is kind of a similar. Dodgers and the Cubs will start the year off. That's what they'll be doing. But Mookie Betts, kind of crazy. He's got this illness. He's lost nearly 15 pounds and is still trying to get rehydrated and gain strength from just some kind of illness that he has. He started suffering flu-like symptoms at the team's spring training home in Arizona the day before they left for Japan. He still made the long plane trip, but hasn't recovered as quickly as he hoped. I guess that's what some of the reports are. So baseball will start 3:10 a.m. tomorrow. Cubs and the Dodgers, they'll play a 2-game set. They'll play tomorrow. They'll play Wednesday morning, but Mookie Betts will not be a part of that. So something to just keep in mind from a baseball perspective in that regards. Okay. I do want to kind of keep things rolling here. I got a couple things I want to get into from the weekend. So let's do our weekend recap real quick, and then I'll look back more at some of your guys' comments. Good to be doing the show this morning. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on here. Had lemon water. I got energy. Laker game coming up tonight. All right, let me look at this real quick. A couple things I want to get into from the weekend. This is going to be predominantly some NBA basketball, just something to kind of keep in mind here. One of the things I did mention just randomly, and I think this is my question about Denver, they lost 126-123 against the Wizards. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense to me. But that's the piece about Denver that I guess I'm confused about. Something to keep in mind about tonight, there's going to be some games that could have an effect on the Lakers. Sixers, Rockets will win. Pacers, Timberwolves, good game. Pacers 8 games over 500, but Minnesota's at home. They've been balling. They've won 8 games in a row. The Nuggets-Warriors game is the game to watch tonight. And then there's a Grizzlies-Kings game. So something else to keep in mind as we kind of roll through past the weekend into some of the games tonight on ESPN. A couple of these games are on ESPN. The other ones are just going to be on the NBA League Pass. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the comments here, and then we'll keep things rolling. As I always mention, the weekend recap and the weekend preview, they're all presented by the Wallace Firm. Need legal help for serious injury? The Wallace Firm are proven trial lawyers. Go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa to learn more. Go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa to learn more. Again, thank you to the Wallace Firm for their partnership on the show and on the channel. All right, let's keep things moving here. K missed R1. Man, there's so many good people on this channel, on the chat, that want to support the channel. I really appreciate you doing that. Gifting out 10 members, giving 10 members 10 free memberships for a month. Thank you for doing that, brother. Phenomenal way to support the channel. Let me plug memberships here real quick. $3 a month. I put a link there if you guys want to become a member. Really obviously critical. All these kind of avenues that I'm trying to build the channel. Memberships is a key one. So, K-Miss, thank you for doing that, brother. Very, very nice of you. 10 people get to take advantage of that. Very, very kind of you to do that. So thank you for doing it, brother. All right, let's take a look here. Appreciate channel. Interact with us. Vibes are always great. There you go. Mission accomplished. If I'm doing that, mission accomplished. Yep, no coffee. No coffee. I'm 2+ weeks in. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Yep, 3:10 a.m. So anybody getting up for that, that's all you. That is all you. All right, let's see some more here. Get a couple more comments in here. Kind of a fun game tonight coming up against the Spurs. Lakers are going to obviously they're going to have some work to do. No coffee still. You're holding on. I'm holding on. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of times I'm done eating a meal and I'm like, you know what sounds good right now? Nice cup of coffee. A little coffee, a little dessert. That's what I'm looking for. I can't get it right now. It's okay. It's okay. We'll be all right. We'll survive. Okay, get a couple more in here. Got people complimenting things. I appreciate that. We need the Rockets and the Nuggets to lose tonight. You're right about that. Definitely need a couple L's coming that way. We'll see if it will happen. We'll see if that will be in the cards. I had one more here that I was looking at. Oh. Slee, I'm so glad we kept Connect, but do you think he's safe in the offseason? I don't think he's safe in the offseason. I think the better he plays, the better for him. But I think the Lakers will do everything they can to improve the roster and fill in the right needs. I'm with you. I mean, here's the thing. You want Connect to perform well because it's only going to raise his value. And I don't think, I think most players that are on this roster, I don't think there's a guarantee any of these guys are safe. I think the Lakers are going to, depending on how this, season goes, how the playoff run goes, this offseason, they're going to try to be a championship roster. They're going to have more time to do it. They, obviously that trade got rescinded. They're going to have other guys that they'll try to tool around. They'll have expiring contracts. So I don't think it's a guarantee or a lock. Now Dalton Connect is back or any of these guys are back. So we'll see what eventually happens there. All right, my people. That's all I got for today. I'm going to be back. Tonight. So after the Lakers take on the San Antonio Spurs, the plan tonight is to do it from the arena. So that's where I'll be tonight. So something to keep in mind. We'll get more reaction. Sammy did put up a preview video for the Lakers and the Spurs. So if you guys want to watch that, feel free to do so. He's doing a great job doing the preview video, and I'll be back this evening. Thank you, everybody, hanging out. Great support for the channel. Thank you again. Shout out. I can't tell you how appreciative I am. K-Miss Star 1 for the 10, giving out the 10 memberships here for the next month. Really appreciate you doing that. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the show. I'll see you guys tonight after the Lakers take on the San Antonio Spurs. Have a great rest of your Monday.